Namaste, Angel. So I just posted maybe an hour or so ago a video for divine unions or twin flames in separation, and how they will be affected by the shift that I have been talking about and feel and saw is coming. Very positive shift with not just the full solar eclipse to occur on August 11th, but some events prior to that leading up to. So I'll quickly go over those. Beginning with the Gemini new moon, 22 degrees Gemini. The number was significant. Master number 22 equals 4 equals 1111. Minutes after that new moon, there was a partial solar eclipse, 11 degrees Gemini, master number 11. So again, very significant numerology here. And then the week following, we had on the 21st, the summer solstice. This was part of it. The last day of Gemini is also the 21st, right? The summer solstice. First day of summer, last day of Gemini. After that, there is on July 11th or July 13th. I still haven't looked it up even between the, the other video I did and this one. I think it's July 11th though. Another partial solar eclipse. And then on August 11th, this full solar eclipse in Leo. So much larger. Now, I was shown all these things like sort of together, and I didn't make complete sense of it. And I had to even look it up to make sure that I wasn't crazy and that these things had actually occurred, because I had heard nobody talk about the partial solar eclipse, not on the news, not anywhere until I saw it, in my vision. And I'm the only person that I know has brought it up, to be honest with you. So in any case, today, just now, before I did the other reading, I was minding my own business, and I have tons of other stuff to do, and it's now 4:26 in the afternoon, and I have a meeting that starts at 6 o'clock, and it's totally separate and apart from what I do here. It's, part of what I do as a private citizen, and I'm obligated to attend the meeting. Like, they take attendance, and it's part of a political appointment and a whole blah, 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 blah. My nails aren't done. My nail tech has had problems with her babysitter. Something happened last week. She didn't have a babysitter. She had to stay home all week. She hasn't been in yet. It's the beginning of the week. So I haven't had my nails done. It feels like forever, and they definitely need to be done. I'm not used to not doing them prior to a full moon. And so I'm hoping that she'll be in tomorrow, or I may become desperate and go to somebody else, even though I don't want to. Because tomorrow is the full moon in Capricorn. Yeah, so this is random. I have client readings to upload. I haven't, speaking of the full moon in Capricorn, I have not even recorded that video yet, and I have to do that. And again, that event is tomorrow, but the universe told me to do this, and I promised you guys also that, I said at the time when I had this other vision that I didn't know what all of this, the shift was going to entail. I could just tell that I could tell you it felt good to me. It felt very positive and made me feel good, made me excited. But I wasn't sure exactly what all was going to happen. And I said that, God willing, anything that is revealed, if anything was revealed to me, I will absolutely share it with you as it becomes available. So here this is. They told me to do this today, do this right now in the middle of what else I was doing. I'm doing it right now. I didn't even light my candle. Now, normally my candles just continue burning. But this one I blew out because this picture of my daughter's on this one, so I'd rather not necessarily have it run out. They gave it to me for Christmas. That and another one, they had custom labeled. So anyway, here we go, because I am doing this. So 4, you can see the Queen of Air is there, but she's upside down. 4, is that we're being shown the 5 of water too. A lot of times I said before on another video that it's often the feminine that gets this card in my experience. And it's often us that has this energy like we're not satisfied. It reminds me of the When Doves Cry song. Prince says, you know, maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Like we finally get something, even if it's relationship, and it's still not exactly how we wanted it, and we don't give the universe a chance to give it to us. Not only like how we might have wanted it, but how it intends to give it to us, which is grander than we could ever even imagine. And instead, we slip into this, oh, woe is me, or you know, like I'm never gonna have, or like being jealous and envious of somebody else, you know, somebody else's relationship or situation and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know why they're telling me to show this to you now, or why I'm going on about it. But the card says things not turning out the way you'd hope, not seeing the positive of a situation, and crying over spilled milk. All right, so back to the Emperor. Now, the Emperor is all about fours in particular, are all about our stability and security. And the Emperor is as well, organization and logic, structure and discipline, leadership. It's about being in charge of our own lives, like taking our own lives, the bull by the horns, as they say. And that, you know, we've done a lot, and we've been, you know, by putting in the work and being disciplined in past situations, is, you know, how we arrived here, where things are about to get better, you know, for us, on how we got on top of things in our own lives, and they're under our control finally. It's like been our hard work that's gotten us this far, and that can continue to bring us through. It also means that, you know, we're sort of living life without boundaries. You know, there's like no rules necessarily other than those we set for ourselves, if that makes any sense. The Emperor, it can also be like your father, or representative of a father figure, or maybe you, masculine, as a father or father figure and an authority in your own life. Speaking of authority, it can have something to do with us coming into contact with an actual authority, a government institution perhaps, or a representative. And that doesn't have to be negative. You know, it can have something to do with court possibly. And maybe it can have something to do with criminality, but that still doesn't mean it's going to be negative. The outcome can be positive. It can be in our favor. You know, we can finally be getting our lives in order, organized, handling our business. It can have something to do with some kind of settlement. I've seen all kinds of settlements and things for people. I've seen a lot of family court stuff, and particularly for the masculine, held up in situations with babies, and needs DNA and whatnot because the kid's not even his a lot of the time. Or sometimes it's, you know, child support and stuff like that. I've seen kind of stuff like that in the past too. But as of late, it's been like similar to last year or the year before, which I think was also August around this time, which I started to hear Billie Jean all the time. And speaking of August, Michael Jackson is a Virgo. His birthday's in August 29th. I know that all too well because that's my sister's birthday. So anyway, before I go off on a tangent, it's to explain that I don't want to scare anybody when I say authority. I want you to look at, I want you to not Five of Cups and, you know, already before we even do anything, and look from a different perspective as to what this can mean. Also, people can be getting married. You know, it can be that kind of authority too. It can be a justice of the peace, because it's about our foundations. It's about us having stability. It's about us having four stakes in the ground, like the Four of Wands. And this card is a Four of Wands essentially for me too, because it's of the fire element as far as I'm concerned, because it represents for me the planet Mars. Mars, which rules the signs of Aries and Scorpio. All right. Is that all I want to say about the Emperor? Maybe. Maybe. All right, here goes. So this card will represent the energy with which we're entering July, which starts on Sunday, the 1st. So we'll also have a new reading for the week that day. This one is what positive change or improvement can we expect to see for people on this journey who are in contact with their partners by the end of July? With what energy are we leaving July and entering August? What positive change can we expect for people in contact with their partners on this spiritual journey, spiritual, emotional roller coaster? Can we expect for those people? And sort of like an overall or outcome, and advice for the masculine and advice for the feminine. And I'm still trying to figure out what zodiac symbol this shape is reminding me of too. I think it's a zodiac symbol. Maybe that's not even what it is. Okay, with what energy will those beings, those people be entering July? The High Priestess with Archangel Haniel. Listen to your intuition. Have patience and consider carefully what you want before acting. Okay, so now that's a 2. So it's the energy of partnership already. But the High Priestess, for me, first of all, she's a Gemini or a water sign. And she is the type to, she's very wise, and she doesn't show all her cards, right? She doesn't let you know everything to which she is wise. There's stuff she's wise to that you'll never know that she knows. And it's not that she's being, it's not a malicious way or in a vindictive way. It's just, I'm just not revealing everything. You know, nothing personal. It's just my way. It's just my way. And she'll do that, and she'll use that wisdom to her best service. You know, it'll serve her well. This card is also about paying very close attention to your intuition, and then like weighing everything, that wisdom that you have, the intuition. So logic, intuition, maybe actual tangible evidence that's in front of you too, weighing all the pros and cons, as they say, and then making the best choice for you, like a really well-informed decision. With what energy will we be leaving the month of July? And what positive change can we expect by the end of the month? Very nice. Justice. It's an 8 too. We're going into August also with the energy of 8. Okay, awesome. And this is also like sort of reflective of the 8-11 too. And it's been coming ever since I saw the 8-11. This card has been showing up in every last one of my readings. All right, so justice is about weighing things fairly. First of all, like our overall energy represents the planet Mars, which is the masculine planet of love, the planet of action, the planet of aggression, right? Getting things done. This one is represented by Venus, the feminine planet of love and the planet of love, period. She's also very diplomatic and fair, like how air signs are in general. And so it's not only are we weighing the pros and cons here, because this could be a representative of her too. The High Priestess, for me, begins with the original High Priestess, Isis, and these are all subsequent vibrations of her, if you ask me. In this capacity of justice, this can be involving legality. And I mentioned coming in contact with an authority, and maybe that's why I was made to say all that when I was talking about the Emperor. This can be us going before a judge for whatever reason with regard to some kind of settlement, maybe to get married, again, a justice of the peace. Maybe it's just happy times. or maybe it's something that we've been working on, but it's so that something can come to an end, some sort of karmic energy. And I recognize the karmic energy based on the 8. And when I say karmic, I mean like of the universe, destined. A lesson is involved, and having nothing to do with this derogatory term that people have made karmic out to be. That's not what it's supposed to be about at all. Some of us may have some, again, like it can be a criminal issue, a family court issue, some kind of a settlement with a company, a corporation or something. But what you can rest assured about, and why this comes up as, first of all, this is in the placement of what positive change can we expect, right? Justice in answer to that. So how awesome is that? But also as it relates to an actual proceeding, because I'm feeling that for some, not only are we coming out as best as we possibly can, when justice is doled out, or at least the way it's connected, the energy that's connected to this card, it has nothing to do with the superficial. And contrary, actually, to popular belief sometimes, particularly about Geminis, I know, and I'm a double air sign, so I know about Aquarius also, like from a personal standpoint. But particularly Geminis, people tend to think that we're really superficial, and we're not at all. We're not at all. Like my interest, for example, in a man could have nothing to do with his looks, nothing to do with his looks, or nothing to do with his money or whatever. I mean, he can be broke and not what other people consider attractive. I used to be into chipped teeth and just all kind of stuff. Just all kind of stuff that you'd be like, huh? What's cute about that? Because really what I like is what's on the inside, and sense of humor, and somebody who makes me think, and who I can talk to and communicate with, like on a similar level, and we get each other. If you get me, period, as a Gemini in particular, that's a plus. And so that's the kind of energy that comes with justice too. It has nothing to do like with the superficial. So if you're going to court, for example, I got to use real world examples and real life examples for me. You're going into court, you're black. You know, a lot of the time we can expect to not maybe get the same justice, not to get equal justice. Well, it's not going to have anything to do with that. Or you go into a court and you're male, you know, and so you don't have boobs to, you know, for the judge to look at. I mean, again, I'm keeping it real that this kind of stuff happens sometimes. You're not, you know, you're not super pretty, and what society deems as super attractive that you can get over by batting your eyelashes or something. You won't need to. It's going to be justice that's based in truth. Okay, and that's what air signs are about too. And you can see here on the Emperor card, this sword that our Archangel Michael holds. Now, Archangel Michael is the sword. If you read the scriptures or whatever, and that, when I say the scriptures, again, I don't only mean the Bible. Again, there are even angels and stuff discussed in the Quran, you know, truth be told, and maybe little known fact to people that are not Muslim. Speaking of Muslims, don't get me started, because the Supreme Court, very racist Supreme Court that we allowed to be installed when we voted for a very racist president in this country, or didn't vote at all, and we allowed that to happen. He appointed racists to the Supreme Court. They just totally banned Muslims in the United States of America, basically, which goes against our Constitution. But this is the Supreme Court who did it. Supreme Court people who have lifetime appointments, lifetime political appointments. Maybe that's why I was made to mention my political appointment too. And I don't want this reading to go in a different direction. But that happened, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, even understanding at the hands of whom it happened. But getting back to this, Archangel Michael, he's known as the sword. But separate and apart from that, this sword is like the sword of justice too. Like it cuts through straight to the truth. And you see on the justice card, there's also a sword in hand. It's that sword is meant to cut through to the truth, and to be fair, and to find balance. And only what is the right thing to do, and not the right thing to do from you know, based on society, or based on some sort of ideology, what you feel is right, as in like what happened today. And there are probably Christians, because in this country, heavily, people consider conservatives and or Republicans tend to be Christian. But what you just did, or what this country just did, what our Supreme Court just did, is basically impeding upon religious freedoms, and which is the premise on which this country was founded. So it's kind of ironic that I'm doing this reading right now, because and describing these cards to you, because this is what I'm talking to you about that's going to happen for you is the opposite of that. Okay, because that's not fair. You're going to get real justice, real impartial justice. Some, of course, this can be divorce, also, and it doesn't have to be like actual divorce. It doesn't have to be actual legality. I mean, this can certainly be metaphorical for, you know, divorcing ourselves from things that don't serve us anymore and allowing those things to end, you know, allowing the karmic completion of those things. Also, the High Priestess, getting back to this. Oh, I didn't even see. This is what's the bad part about being a Gemini. You just start talking about other stuff before you finish your thought. But this is another 8-11. 8 and 2. 2 is 11. The High Priestess is also shows up to sort of warn us, because I'm not sure if I made this clear, to like evaluate our lives, and like things are not as they appear. Things are not as they appear. That's what I'm trying to say. Your situation isn't as it appears. And maybe in the case of legality, or something that you feel is close to that, can be described. You can use justice as a metaphor for whatever your situation is, or the circumstance of your relationship. The High Priestess could be showing up to tell you, like, warn you in advance of this energy, that it's not as bleak, for example, as it may seem. Things are not like they look. You're not really in trouble. Things are going to work out in your favor, or you're not going to be, you know, passed over because of your gender or your sexuality or your race or your religion or any other belief system. You're really going to get justice on a genuine level in your life, however it relates to you, whether it's your love life and, you know, it's about the divorce or something, or it's something else that you're going through as an individual, and, you know, be it family court or civil court or criminal court, or, you know, something likened to that. That, you know, that is as serious as that to you, then it may not look, or not only it may not, it's not, because this is our card for what is the positive change. What can we expect? So regardless of how things look, it doesn't look like it's going to work out well. It is, basically. Okay. This reading is going to be longer than the other one, because I went off on a few tangents, but I guess I had to. So with what energy are we entering August, and yeah, leaving July? Oh, the Lovers. Now, ooh, okay, wait a minute. So the Lovers, of course, can have to do with just love, period. It can be about like you're getting a relationship or something that's going to make you really happy. But the Lovers can also be about a decision. And we call the document that results and the award or not that results at the end of a proceeding, court proceeding, a legal proceeding in particular, we call that a decision too. So it can be, we're leaving July with this decision, or awaiting the actual decision to show up in the mail or something like that, if it is related to something like that. I mean, we're waiting for the divorce papers. We're waiting for the new custody agreement to show up, the stipulation to be written out. We're waiting for the settlement check, whatever. That's one thing. This can also have to do with a decision between, like, your heart and your head want to do two different things. And often that has to do with the lovers. For me, it has to do with even though it's a 6, well, maybe it's like 2 parties or 3. It has to do with it can do with another party, like a quote unquote karmic relationship. I don't even like to say that, to use that term really. And you know, your true one, and trying to juggle between that. Combined with these other cards in particular, it can also have to do with, like, you're a bachelor or a bachelorette and giving up that life for one of commitment and one of a relationship. So that's really awesome. What positive change can we expect? What improvement can we expect by the end of August for these couples? The 9 of Fire. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage and believe in yourself. Okay. So after all this, through which you've been, and again, I feel like this can be for a lot of you, like a leap. Like, okay, I'm out of this relationship and I'm starting a new one. Or I'm giving up my bachelor life or my bachelorette life, my single life, and I'm really committing, like, for the first time to somebody. You may feel kind of weathered after this, and this is the universe saying, like, you know, that part, the worst is over, and you can make it to the end, and you're almost there with this really, really new divine blessing that you're going to get. And maybe that comes during the energy of 9, like ultimately for some a more solidified commitment or something in September, after we go through this shift in August. And like overall, or the outcome, or however you want to look at this, what would that be here? The Queen of Water. How awesome is that? The Queen of Water is tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. The Queen of Water, if this is an actual person that is impactful upon your life and involved, or your own energy or whatever, may be connected to the energy of Scorpio specifically. As the Queen in the tarot, like the Queen tends to represent the fixed sign of a given element. So in this case, the fixed sign of the element of water is Scorpio. Not to mention, again, our overall energy. The Emperor for me represents the planet Mars, which is a ruler of not only Aries, but also Scorpio. This is about relationships coming together too. So like I said, we're doing away with the old energy of toxic relationships, maybe that wasn't working, or toxic situations in our life, karmic situations that were holding us back, so that we can finally come together in love. And even though we feel like we might not be able to go any further, like I'm tired now, I don't even know if I have the energy for love at this point, you do, and it's coming for you. Further advice to the masculine in this regard. Aww, the 2 of Water in the other reading. It was the 2 of Cups for the feminine. Maybe it will be again here too. We'll see. The 2 of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts. Continue to move forward. The 2 of Fire is the divine union or twin flame card of the tarot. And can be related in a general sense too to your life, having to do with partnerships. Maybe a business partnership, but I think it's love. I think it's love, to be honest with you. With the Lovers, the Queen of Water, the 2 of Fire, I think, and all these, we got 2 2s here. It's love. Really nice. And for the feminine, ooh, did I talk this up? Did I jinx us? Because I talked in the beginning about how the 5 of Water tends to be attached to the feminine. Oh boy. Well, it's another 2. Okay, maybe that's the point of it, to look at it again from a positive perspective. It's another 2 here. We got 2 beautiful cups here. Oh, that's what I just said that too. In the reading for the couples in separation, the advice for the feminine was the Two of Cups. So it is for this reading as well. It's just in a different way. You got to realize that, yes. And when you look at the other cards and take them in consideration, doesn't this make sense? You're probably like, okay, yeah, well, I got this relationship now. We got the Two of Fire. But, you know, again, I went through all this stuff. I had a rough 2 months. Maybe I had to go through a huge situation. I went through a divorce. I went, whatever it is you went through. And, you know, I just feel like whining and complaining and being arrogant and obnoxious, and not appreciating the fact that I got 2 cups here. So I think that that's the overlying message to those of you in contact. It's just going to keep getting better and better. And especially if you are prepared and you are armed with your wisdom and your healed self and knowing, you know, how to move, what movements to make, everything's going to be awesome. This is the outcome. This is the outcome. This is the outcome. You being in control of your own life and, you know, living it on your own terms and, you know, with whom you want and how you want. So there's nothing to be sad about or, oh, woe is me about. You like basically are about to live your best life. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this reading. And if you would like one more personal to yourself, hit me up. Or if you would like the healing that we, you know, can use also from me, hit me up for that. I provide all kinds of stuff. You can go on my website, Queenofswords, thelightworker.com. I provide stuff that's not even listed there. If you need something custom, just tell me with what you've been having a problem, and I'll tell you honestly if, you know, if I know how to heal that or not. But I pretty much have healed any and everything that has been presented to me in the past. My own mother, I've never even told this story. I said that she was ill, but I don't think I went into what she was ill with. But you know, I talked to somebody earlier about it. It came up in conversation, so maybe I meant to tell you guys too. So at one point, my mother actually had stage 4 inoperable cancer. They told us it was inoperable and there was nothing else that they could do for her. And they didn't know that they were talking to a healer and somebody that's really blessed with a gift to heal. So no, I couldn't cure my mother of cancer, but I could do the next best thing, and that was to make her cancer operable and to prevent it from spreading. So it stayed right there in that one ball, which was removed, and she no longer has cancer. And that's another thing to, like, if you're going through that kind of, like I'm saying, this can be justice in all kinds of areas. Justice even in an area like that, like a medical situation where it looks grim. It's not as it appears. It's not as it appears. You can get better. And I am somebody who can help you get better, but there are other people too. If you want a reading again from me or healing from me, just contact me. Facebook, IG, Gmail, holla, however. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm supposed to start telling people to do this. I keep getting these emails from the creator team at YouTube, and I actually went to a thing too, like a conference for YouTube creators. So if you like this video, please actually like this video by clicking on the button and share and subscribe. Namaste, angels.